All right. Good evening, everybody. As I'm sure you are well aware, Star Citizen just went down for maintenance right as I hit the maintenance button. And I don't know how to end the stream without starting the stream. And unfortunately, by the power of democracy, the few people here have elected for bedtime stories. Gruff, it's good to see you. Hey, Ken. Howdy, Ty. Hey, Waz. I don't know if Dragnos is still around, but I figure we're going to do maybe one or two stories. I'll even let you guys choose. I've got two books here that I can read from. One is the complete collection of Thomas the Tank Engine. The other is the children's treasury of fairy tales, nursery rhymes, and nonsense verse. So let you guys choose. What do you want? Do you want some fairy tales, or do you want Thomas the Tank Engine? Feels weird to do this like in voice, one-sided, asking questions. You know, Graf, you say the second one. I already forgot what the second one was. Was that the fairy tales? Pretty sure that was the fairy tales. I guess I could have put it as a poll, but I've already done that. I've already made one poll. I don't know if you can hear me turning the pages or not. I'm trying to get to the table of contents. Yeah, I can, but I'm nothing if not a slave to democracy. All right. I actually have. Good God, how many stories do they have in this thing? You know, Ken, if you want, I could probably turn off my audio filter if you just want to hear all the pages. Hold on. How do I do this? Okay. I don't know if I sound any different. I don't know if you can hear the pages. You'll have to tell me if I sound better or worse. Let's see. Oh, we have so many stories to choose from. How about... Let's see. I'm going to name some. First person to pick one. That's what we go with, all right? We have... We're not going to do the story without an end, because that's just reductive. We have The Tinderbox, The Three Little Pigs, The Gingerbread Man, The Brave Little Tailor, The Tailor and the Bear, The Fairy's Two Gifts, Little Red Riding Hood, Toads and Diamonds. Oh, thank you, Ken. And Waz wants to go with Gingerbread Box. I'm going to assume, Waz, you mean Gingerbread Man. But we'll turn to page 245 and read about the Gingerbread Man. You know, it's funny. I've actually been buying used copies of this book and stocking it in the bookstore. I actually grew up with this book. In the world? Sorry, there's an odd note that I found buried in this one. Huh. Have to come back to that. All right. Where's my water? I'm going to need this. This is not a professional reading by far. The Gingerbread Man. There was once an old husband and his wife who lived in a little cottage, and most of the time they were happy, and sometimes they were not. One day the wife thought that she would please her husband by cooking him some gingerbread, and she made 2 gingerbread men and cooked them in the oven. When they were ready, the husband picked up one of the gingerbread men to have a taste of it, and the other gingerbread man saw him take a big bite out of it. "This is no place for me," thought the second gingerbread man, and he jumped off the table onto the floor and ran out of the door. The old man and the old woman tried to catch the gingerbread man, but he was too quick for them, and away he went before they could hobble after him. The gingerbread man called after them, "You can run, run, run as fast as you can, but you won't catch me. I'm the gingerbread man." Away he went into the world, until he came to a tailor's shop, and in he went to see what he could see. There were 3 tailors sitting sewing in the shop, and as soon as they caught sight of the gingerbread man, they dropped their needles and thread and tried to catch him to eat him. So I'm going to assume this is like a medieval fantasy setting, and food was still kind of scarce. Not exactly a Kroger to go to. But he was too quick for them, and away he went before they could get the stiffness out of their hands in order to catch him. The gingerbread man called after them, "You can run, run, run as fast as you can, but you won't catch me. I'm the gingerbread man." Away he went into the world until he came to a weaver's shop, and in he went to see what he could see. There was the weaver working at his loom, and his wife winding the wool. And as soon as they caught sight of the gingerbread man, they dropped their wool and tried to catch him to eat him. But he was too quick for them, and he ran in between the loom and the wool until it was all tangled, and the weaver and his wife tripped over the tangle, and away went the gingerbread man. He called after them. Can you guess? Can you guess what he says? "You can run, run, run as fast as you can, but you won't catch me. I'm the gingerbread man." Away he went into the world until he came to a farmhouse where the farmer's children were churning butter in a big churn. As soon as they caught sight of the gingerbread man, they wanted to eat him with the butter they had made, and they ran to and fro trying to catch him. But he was too quick for them, and he ran between their feet and knocked over the churn. And away he went. As they were picking it up, he called after them, "You can run, run, run as fast as you can, but you won't catch me. I'm the gingerbread man." Away he went into the world until he came to a mill, where the miller was grinding flour. As soon as he caught sight of the gingerbread man, the miller wanted to eat him. "Sit down with me, gingerbread man," he said. "I like the thought of gingerbread and cheese." Ew. But the gingerbread man was too quick for him, and he ran out of the door while the miller was cutting up his cheese. The gingerbread man called after him, "You can run, run, run as fast as you can, but you won't catch me. I'm the gingerbread man." I don't feel like that's really a good part of the story, because he was trying to catch him with cunning, not speed. But anyway, away he went once more, until he came to a house where the mother was stirring a pot of steaming hot soup. "Sit down with us, gingerbread man," the mother said. "Gingerbread will be welcome after we have finished eating our soup." But the gingerbread man was too quick for her, and he knocked over the pot, and out he ran while she threw the big soup spoon after him. The gingerbread man called after her, "You can run, 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 as fast as you can, but you won't catch me. I'm the gingerbread man." And away he went into the world again, until he came to a house where the man and his wife were about to go to bed. The man was just taking his trousers off when they caught sight of the gingerbread man and wanted to eat him. This man has been all over creation. Who knows what stuff he has picked up all over his little gingerbread self. And people are still trying to eat him. Anyway. "Throw your trousers over him," shouted the wife to her husband, and so he did. But the gingerbread man was too quick for them and ran away. The wife tripped over the trousers, and the husband ran after the gingerbread man with his legs all naked in the cold night air. And they ran until it was too dark to see where they were going. The gingerbread man called after them, "You can run, run, run as fast as you can, but you won't catch me. I'm the gingerbread man." Then the husband went back home, all cold and hungry. But the gingerbread man went on into the world until he was tired out. In the end, he came across a hole in the ground, and into it he went. But it was a fox's hole. And the fox said to him, "Whoever you are welcome here," and ate him all up. So that was the end of the gingerbread man. Wow, what a build-up for such a rinky-dink ending, huh? Yeah, no, Ken, the tactics are very Hey, Wetsu. Sorry, Wetsu, if you're just now joining us, I've got it set to an unlisted stream right now, so the only people that can join are the poor fools who got the link over Discord. But maintenance happened right as I hit the go button. So we're reading bedtime stories until either you guys get tired of it or I get tired of it. Yeah, Ken, the gingerbread man is like, you get a lot of repetition, and I know kids love that stuff. But it's basically, he falls into a hole and a fox gets him. Oh, I got you, Wetsu. I got you. Let's see. We've actually got some darker stories in here, too. Like, we got that Hans Christian Andersen and Brothers Grimm and whatnot. Let me get back to the table of contents here. This book is also huge. Honestly, if any of you guys have kids, I would highly recommend this book. I'm not trying to cross promote or whatever. Just saying it's a good book. Oh my goodness, how many pages do I have to go? Well, Ken, it's not in the original German, but it does have the original endings where it's like, she didn't get with the prince and she was sad and she turned into sea foam and no one was happy. The end. Let's see. I'm going to name some. You guys pick one. The Tinderbox. The tale of a youth who set out to learn what fear was. That's a fun one. The Golden Goose. Toads and Diamonds. The Three Billy Goats Gruff. Little One Eye, Little Two Eyes, and Little Three Eyes. Tinderbox would be Tinder, like a tinderbox for lighting a fire or a smoke. We also have a collection of Aesop's fables. Those are fun little short stories. I don't remember. Actually, Ken, that might be under the nonsense verses or the rhymes. There's about 144 pages of nursery rhymes. And, like, they're not even actually listed under the table of contents because of how many there are. Oh, God, Ty, I don't know if I've got the throat for that one. We have the story of the fisherman and his wife. We have... Let's see, did I say the ugly duckling? The traveling companion. Goldilocks and the Three Bears. Why the Sea is Salt. I'm just going to keep naming things until somebody picks one. The Steadfast Tin Soldier. Dick Whittington. The Nightingale. You know, Ken, I actually just watched the Deep Space Nine episode where Alexander shows up again. I was like, hey, Worf, be a dad. Golden Goose? All right. What's who gets the Golden Goose? 279. Tell you what, Ken, if we're feeling it afterwards, we'll do Tin Soldier. How about that? I don't think Golden Goose is too long. All right. The Golden Goose by... Oh, it doesn't say. Once upon a time, there was a man who had 3 sons. The youngest of these sons was thought by his father and brothers to be half-witted, and for this reason they mocked him and made fun of everything he did. But this youngest son, whose name was Peter, was not so silly after all, as this story will plainly show. It is Gold. Sorry to interrupt the story right quick. Gold, I messed up. Right as I hit the go button, it went down for maintenance for 3 hours. So I didn't know what to do, and I put up a poll, and I think you see how that poll went. So now we're reading the story of the Golden Goose. Anyway, tell you what, Gold, since you just got here, I guess we summoned you with the Golden Goose. I'm going to restart that paragraph. Once upon a time, there was a man who had 3 sons. The youngest of these sons was thought by his father and brothers to be half-witted, and for this reason they mocked him and made fun of everything he did. But this youngest son, whose name was Peter, was not so silly after all, as this story will plainly show. Well, one day the eldest son was sent by his father into the forest to chop wood for the winter. He was his mother's favorite, and before he started out, she made him some nice pancakes and gave him a bottle of wine, so that he might not be hungry or thirsty while he was away from home. As this lad, whose name was Paul, entered the forest, he met a little old man who said, "Young sir, give me, please, one of your pancakes and a sip of wine out of your bottle, for I am fainting with hunger and thirst." "Not I," said Paul. "If I were to give you a pancake and a drink of wine, I should have less to eat and drink myself. Not I, indeed. Just take yourself off, for you are nothing but a beggar." The old man shook his head sadly and disappeared. Soon Paul began to cut down a tree, but his axe glanced off the trunk and cut his leg so badly that he was obliged to limp home and have it bound up. On the way home, he met the old man, who said to him, "That is the way in which I punish the greedy." Next day, the second son, whose name was Luke, was sent into the forest to do the work which was his older brother's and had failed to do. His mother gave him a cake and a jar of cider, so that he might not be hungry or thirsty during the day. He had not gone far when he, too, met the old man, who said, "Young sir, give me, please, a piece of your cake and a sip of cider out of your jar, for I am fainting with hunger and thirst." "Not I," said Luke. "You ought to be ashamed of yourself for asking a boy for his food and drink. Off with you, you old vagabond." Soon the second son began to cut down a tree, but his axe stuck in the trunk, and in pulling hard at it to get it out, it sprang back in his face and knocked several of his teeth out. He was so badly hurt that when he went home, he was crying and moaning with pain. Next morning, poor Peter, whom everybody called Silly Peter, asked his father to allow him to go and cut wood in the forest. "No," said his father. "Now that your clever brothers have failed, a half-witted fellow like you is not likely to succeed." But Peter begged so hard that his father at last said, "Off with you. I suppose you won't give me any peace until you are hurt too." Peter's mother gave him a piece of dry bread and a bottle of water, and off he went. He had not gone far before he too met the little old man. "Young sir," he said, "give me, please, a crumb of your bread and a sip of water out of your bottle, for I am fainting with hunger and thirst." "Certainly," answered Peter. "You are welcome to half my bread and half my water. Let us sit down here, and I will divide it. I wish I had better food, for your sake." The boy and the old man sat down by the roadside, and Peter opened his basket. His eyes nearly jumped out of his head when he saw what it contained. For the bread had been turned into the most beautiful cake that was ever baked, and the water had been turned into the most delicious wine that was ever pressed out of grapes. Peter and his companion made a hearty meal, and then the old man said, "You are a kind-hearted lad. Unlike your two brothers, you gladly shared your dinner with me. Now I shall reward you. They call you silly, but you shall be rich and great. Do you see that tall tree? Cut it down, and at the roots you will find something very lucky. Farewell, my son, and keep your kind heart all your life." So saying, the old man disappeared, and Peter began to chop down the tree. When it fell, he saw sitting at the roots a wonderful goose with feathers of pure gold. Peter took up the goose, and instead of going home with it, went to the nearest inn, where he stayed all night. In the morning, Peter started off with his goose under his arm. He had not gone far when a plowman saw him and shouted out, "I want a few feathers for that bird." "Come and take them," cried Peter. The man took hold of the bird's tail, but what do you think happened? His finger and thumb stuck fast, and try as he would, he could not pull his hand away. He struggled with all his might, but he could not get free, and there he remained, as if glued to the goose. On they went, Peter and the unwilling plowman, and as they crossed a field, a country girl saw them. At once the plowman cried out to her, "Come and help me to get free from this fellow." The girl came to help him, but as soon as she touched the man, her hand was held fast. and though she pulled and struggled with all her might, she too was obliged to follow Peter wherever he went. Soon Peter and his train came to a village in which a fair was being held. In front of a show was a clown who was making the people laugh with his merry antics. When he saw Peter pass by with the plowman and the girl, he cried out to them, "You must come into the show. You are more foolish than I am." He laid hold of the girl to try to stop her, but to his surprise he too stuck fast and could not get free. So he also had to go wherever Peter went. Soon they passed a chimney sweep, and the clown called out, "Come here and pull me away from this girl, and I will give you a silver crown." At once the chimney sweep took hold of the clown and tried to pull him away, but he too stuck fast. And on went Peter with the goose under his arm, followed by the plowman, the girl, the clown, and the chimney sweep. Then they all fell a-crying, and the policeman, hearing the noise, ran up to see what was the matter. He put his hand on the chimney sweep's shoulder, but as soon as he did, so he found himself held fast, and though he yelled threats and struggled with all his might, he too had to follow in Peter's train. Hearing the hullabaloo, the policeman's wife ran to her window, and looking out saw her husband trying to get away, but unable to do so. At once she ran out and threw her arms around the policeman. She too found herself held fast and obliged to go wherever Peter wished. A little further on, Peter, the goose, the plowman, the girl, the clown, the chimney sweep, the policeman, and his wife came to a city in which there was a princess who was so sad that nothing could make her smile. She was pining away, and the king, her father, was so full of grief that he was ready to give half his kingdom to the man who could make his daughter laugh. "He who makes my daughter, the princess, laugh," he declared, "shall marry her and be my heir." When Peter and his train came into the city, the people gathered around and began to roar with laughter at the strange sight. The king heard the noise and ran out of his palace. When he saw the plowman, the girl, the clown, the chimney sweep, the policeman, and his wife all struggling to get free, their antics amused him so much that he laughed until he cried. "Ha ha 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 ha," he said. "Bring them to the princess, and if they do not make her laugh, nothing will." So Peter and his procession passed under the window of the room in which the sad princess sat, and one of her maids begged her to look out. She did so, and at once her sadness vanished. A smile of merriment appeared on her pale face, and she laughed aloud like the chime of sweet bells. Never in his life had Peter heard anything so sweet, and was quite certain that he had never seen anyone half so beautiful. He fell in love with her on the spot. "I have made her laugh," he said, "so she shall be my wife, and I shall be the king's heir." When Peter went to the king and asked for his daughter's hand in marriage, the king was not willing to keep his word, for he thought that Peter was only a rough, common fellow, and not at all fit to be his son-in-law. Before you can marry my daughter," he said, "you must bring me a man who can drink up all the wine in my cellar." Peter was very much disappointed, but his face brightened when he thought of the old man. "He will help me, I know," thought Peter. "I will go and seek him out." So he went into the forest, and at last came to the fallen tree where he had found the goose. Here he saw an old man who looked very miserable indeed. "Oh, oh," he cried, "I have a most terrible thirst. Nothing seems able to quench it. I have drunk the brook dry, and I am just as thirsty as ever. What shall I do?" That can actually be a sign of diabetes, by the way. If you ever feel like you're constantly thirsty, so get that checked out. Come with me, said Peter, and you shall drink your fill, I promise you. So the old man went with Peter, and together they went into the king's cellar. What a thirst that man had! And to be sure, he drank and drank, barrel after barrel of wine, and did not stop until there was not a drop of wine left. Once more Peter went to the king and begged his daughter's hand in marriage. But the king was still unwilling to keep his word, and said, before you can marry my daughter, you must bring me a man who can eat up a mountain of bread. Once more Peter went off to the forest, and here he found a tall, thin man who seemed to be in pain. Oh, oh, he cried, pulling his belt in very tightly. I am the hungriest man in the world. I have eaten all the loaves in a baker's shop, and I am hungrier than ever. What shall I do? Come with me, said Peter, and you shall eat your fill, I promise you. So Peter took the hungry man to the mountain of bread. At once the man began to devour it, and before evening the whole mountain had disappeared. Then Peter went to the king for the third time and begged his daughter's hand in marriage. But still the king was not willing to keep his word. Well, before you can marry my daughter, he said, you must bring me a ship that will sail over the land just as well as it will sail over the water. Poor Peter was much cast down, but he set off for the forest once again, for he thought, perhaps the little old man will help me one more time. Indeed I will, said a voice, and looking around, Peter saw his friend. I sent you the thirsty man, and I sent you the hungry man, and now I shall give you the ship that can travel by land and by sea. Here it is. Peter looked, and a little way in front of him he saw a great wheeled ship with golden masts and silken sails. He thanked his friend, and jumping aboard, seized the tiller. Before you could say Jack Robinson, his wonderful ship was in the king's courtyard. The king was so surprised and delighted that he could no longer refuse to give his daughter to the young man, who had done so much to win her. The wedding took place the next day, and Peter and his wife were the happiest couple in all the world. When the old king died, Peter took his place on the throne, and the princess sat by his side, the loveliest queen that was ever seen. You know, I kind of feel like they kind of tossed off the importance of the golden goose, like a third into that. Sorry, that was the end, by the way. Like, for it being called the golden goose, like, the goose doesn't really get to do much. Why, thank you, Gold. I hope it was enjoyable. Yeah, I can. Now, I think they do actually have that story in here. I think that might actually be under an Aesop. They attribute a lot of stories to Aesop that I don't necessarily think were Aesop. I mean, Gold, it's unlisted, not private, so you can just copy the link and link it. Like, I figured I wouldn't make it public just because I didn't want people showing up and going, what the heck is going on here? Yes. So, Ken, according to this book, the goose that laid the golden eggs is attributed as an Aesop's fable. Well, tell you what, Ken, you wanted a steadfast tin soldier. You still want that one? See, Gold, I was trying to be a little conservative with the voices. I mean, like, you always got to do the voices, but you know. All right, page 306. I need like a book stand. I'm having to hold this at a weird angle. All right, the steadfast tin soldier, which I don't know if this is going to ruin it or not, but has a lot of similarities to the Nutcracker. I mean, obviously this one doesn't have any music, but you know. Hold on, let me see what this Discord notification is. Ah, never mind. All right. The Steadfast Tin Soldier. There was, once upon a time, 25 tin soldiers, all brothers, as they were made out of the same old tin spoon. Their uniform was red and blue, and they shouldered their guns and looked straight in front of them. The first words that they heard in this world, when the lid of the box in which they lay was taken off, were, "Hurrah, tin soldiers!" from a little boy, clapping his hands. They had been given to him because it was his birthday, and now he began setting them out on the table. Each soldier was exactly like the others in shape, except just one, who had been made last when the tin had run short. But there he stood as firmly on his one leg as the others did on two, and he is the one that became famous. There were many other toys on the table on which they were being set out, but the nicest of all was a pretty little castle made of cardboard, with small windows through which you could see into the rooms. In front of the castle stood some little trees surrounding a tiny mirror, which looked like a lake. Wax swans were floating about and reflecting themselves in it. That was all very pretty, but the most beautiful thing was a little woman, who stood in the open doorway. She was cut out of paper, but she had on a dress of the finest muslin, with a scarf of narrow blue ribbon draped round her shoulders, fastened in the middle with a glittering rose made of gold paper, which was as large as her head. The little woman was stretching out both her arms, for she was a dancer, and was lifting up one leg so high in the air that the tin soldier couldn't find it anywhere, and thought that she, too, had only one leg. "That's the wife for me," he thought, "but she is so grand, and lives in a castle, while I have only an old box with 24 others. This is no place for her, but I must make her acquaintance." Then he stretched himself out behind a snuff-box that lay on the table. From there he could watch the dainty little woman, who continued to stand on one leg without losing her balance. When the night came, all the other tin soldiers went into their box, and the people of the house went to bed. Then the toys began to play at visiting, dancing, and fighting. The tin soldiers rattled in their box, for they wanted to be out too, but they could not raise the lid. The nutcrackers played at leapfrog, and the slate pencil ran about the slate. There was such noise that the canary woke and began to talk to them, in poetry too. The only two who did not stir from their places were the tin soldier and the dancer. She remained on tiptoe, with both arms outstretched. He stood steadfastly on his one leg, never moving his eyes from her face. The clock struck 12, and crack! Off flew the lid of the snuff-box. But there was no snuff inside, only a little black imp. That was the beauty of it. "Hello, tin soldier," said the imp. "Don't look at things that aren't intended for the likes of you." But the tin soldier took no notice, and seemed not to hear. "Very well then, wait till tomorrow," said the imp. When it was morning, and the children had got up, the tin soldier was put in the window, and whether it was the wind or the little black imp, I don't know. But all at once the window flew open, and out fell the little tin soldier, head over heels, from the third-story window. That was a terrible fall, I tell you. He landed on his head with his one leg in the air, his gun wedged between two paving stones. The nursery maid and the little boy came down at once to look for him, but though they were so near him they almost trod on him, they did not notice him. If the tin soldier had only called out, "Here I am," they must have found him. But he did not think it fitting for him to cry out, because he had on his uniform. Very soon it began to drizzle. Then the drops came faster, and there was a regular downpour. When it was all over, two little street boys came along. "Just look!" exclaimed one. "He's a tin soldier. He shall sail up and down in a boat." They quickly made a little boat out of newspaper, put the tin soldier in it, and made him sail up and down the gutter. Both boys ran along beside him, clapping their hands. What great waves there were in the gutter, and what a swift current! The paper boat tossed up and down, and in the middle of the stream it went so quickly that the tin soldier trembled. But he remained steadfast, showed no emotion, and looked straight in front of him, shouldering his gun. All of a sudden, the boat passed under a long tunnel that was as dark as his box had been. "Where can I be coming to now?" he wondered. "Oh dear, this is the black imp's fault. Ah, if only the little woman was sitting beside me in the boat. It might be twice as dark for all I should care." Suddenly, there came along a great water rat that lived in the tunnel. "Have you a passport?" asked the rat. "Out with your passport." But the tin soldier was silent, and grasped his gun more firmly. The boat sped on, and the rat behind it. Ugh, how he showed his teeth, as he cried to the chips of wood and straw, "Hold him! Hold him! He's not paid the toll! He's not shown his passport!" But the current became swifter and stronger. The tin soldier could already see daylight where the tunnel ended, but in his ears there was sounding a roaring enough to frighten any brave man. Only think! At the end of the tunnel the gutter discharged itself into a large canal. That would be just as dangerous for him as it would be for us to go down a waterfall. Now, he was so near to it that he could not hold on any longer. On went the boat, the poor tin soldier keeping himself as stiff as he could. No one should say of him afterwards that he had flinched. The boat whirled 3, then 4 times round, and became filled to the brim with water. It began to sink. The tin soldier was up to his neck in water, and deeper sank the boat, and softer grew the paper. Now the water was over his head. He was thinking of the pretty little dancer, whose face he should never see again, and there sounded in his ears, over and over again, "Forward, forward, soldier bold! Death's before you, grim and cold!" The paper tore in two, and the soldier fell. But at that moment he was swallowed by a great fish. Oh, how dark it was inside, even darker than in the tunnel, and it was really close quarters. But there the steadfast little tin soldier lay full length, shouldering his gun. Up and down swam the fish. Then he made the most dreadful contortions, and became suddenly quite still. Then it was as if a flash of lightning had passed through him. The daylight streamed in, and a voice exclaimed, "Why, here is the little tin soldier!" The fish had been caught, taken to market, sold and brought into the kitchen, where the cook had cut it open with a large knife. She took up the tin soldier between her finger and thumb and carried him into the room where everyone wanted to see the hero who had been found inside a fish. But the tin soldier was not at all proud. They put him on the table, and no, but what strange things do happen in this world. The tin soldier was in the same room in which he had been before. He saw the same children and the same toys on the table, and there was the same grand castle with a pretty little dancer. She was still standing on one leg, with the other high in the air. She too was steadfast. That touched the tin soldier. He was nearly going to shed 10 tears, but that would not have been fitting for a soldier. He looked at her, but she said nothing. All at once, one of the little boys took up the tin soldier and threw him into the stove, giving no reasons. But doubtless the little black imp in the snuff box was at the bottom of this too. There the tin soldier lay and felt a heat that was truly terrible. But whether he was suffering from actual fire or from the ardor of his passion, he did not know. All his color had disappeared. Whether this had happened on his travels or whether it was a result of trouble, who can say? He looked at the little woman. She looked at him, and he felt that he was melting, but he remained steadfast. Suddenly, a door opened. The draught caught up the little dancer, and off she flew like a fairy to the tin soldier in the stove, burst into flames, and that was the end of her. Then the tin soldier melted down into a little lump, and when next morning the maid was taking out the ashes, she found him in the shape of a heart. There was nothing left of the little dancer but her golden rose, burnt as black as a cinder. The end. Boy, that was kind of messed up, right? Yeah, I can exactly. Like, children can be quite cruel. Like, honestly, they haven't had time to build up their filters. A kid can do something that is just heinously evil, and when you ask them why they did it, they'll say, I don't know, and they'll legitimately mean it. Like, they have no idea why they did it, and they'll regret it, but... Oh, thank you, Ty. Sorry, I'm catching up on all the stuff. Yeah, gold, like... I want to say it's the one about the tinderbox. Like, a lot of death. Like, a guy just kills a lot of people. Also, yes, I absolutely appreciate that rat asking for a passport. I'm a big fan of that rat. Well, let's see. Going for 48 minutes. Now what? Oh, God, they have Peter Piper in here. Peter Piper picked a peck of pickled pepper. A peck of pickled pepper Peter Piper picked. If Peter Piper picked a peck of pickled pepper, where's the peck of pickled pepper Peter Piper picked? Oh, that one's hard. Betty Botter bought some butter, but she said the butter's bitter. If I put it in my batter, it will make my batter bitter. But a bit of better butter will surely make my batter better. So she bought a bit of butter, better than her bitter butter, and she put it in her batter, and her batter was not bitter. So 'twas better Betty Botter bought a bit of better butter. Yeah, Ken, yeah, we can wrap it up there, unless anyone has, like, any last requests. I mean, I say that. I know you guys don't have the table of contents, but gold, I guess this is proof that some reading did happen. I should probably do this more often, or, I don't know, start a separate channel or something. Who knows? I'll let you guys decide. Oh, it is warm in here, though. Everybody get their fill? Everybody asleep? Yeah, Gold. I'm gonna try to wake up early tomorrow. Because I have a thing I have to do at 2 p.m. and then a thing that I'm doing at 6 p.m. So I'm gonna try to get on an early stream in tomorrow because I want to like show up at 11 o'clock at night. Be like, hey guys, time to go look at IAE stuff. That is true, Ken. That is true. Actually, Ken, tell you what. Speaking of, okay, so it's not an Autobot. It's a Decepticon, but I haven't showed you guys my my Devastator build, have I? Tell you what, Ken, take a look at general chat. Yeah, take a look at Gen Chat in Discord. I don't think I've shown you guys yet. But this is my Devastator build. I finally got all my Constructicons in. And before I go, I'm going to change the name of the stream to Secret Accidental Unlisted Reading Stream. All right. I'll tell you what. You know what? Hold on. Give me like 30 seconds. I'm going to go see if I can track down a book right quick, all right? It's got some like short poems in it and stuff. It's one from my childhood. And it's got short stuff in it. I'll be right back. Okay. I am back. Yeah, Ken, we could do. Oh, Ken, are you serious? You're telling me that live is back up? What a and I left my headphones downstairs. All right, I'm gonna give you guys a vote. I have in my hands a copy of Guy Gilchrist's Just Imagine, a book of fairyland rhymes. This is actually my personal copy from back when I was a toddler. My mom used to read this to me. Ken, let me know if you can get in. So we can either continue, read you guys some little short fairyland rhymes, or we can go ahead and wrap it up. Let you guys be the judge. I guess I don't actually need my headset. Honestly, Ken, I was going to try to do some interstellar trucking, and that's going to take at least an hour. Well, maybe not. Okay. All right, I'm going to read some of these anyway, because I enjoy these, and they're short. They're very short. In fact, here's one that is a limerick. This one is about Shoes Too Tight Floyd. If I were you, I would avoid a goblin named Shoes Too Tight Floyd. Floyd's mom got him shoes that were only size 2s, but Floyd's a size 8 and annoyed. But you guys can see the pictures in these. Oh, here we go. This one's relevant. Winter's coming round. The squirrels and raccoons have made their homes in the trees and on the ground. The branches of the great white oak tree are bare, and fallen leaves are gold and brown. Here come the magic frosties, the old north wind's little men. Time to put on my snowshoes. Winter's coming round again. Ken, if you actually get in game, let me know. Maybe I'll do it. Oh, here we go. Here's a fun one. Hark the hungry camel. Hark the hungry camel sings. Sugar pies and jelly rings. Popsicles and popsy doozes. 27 chocolate mousses. Strawberry rhubarb and lemon meringue. He gobbles it all with a burp and a bang. He gobbles it all with a chomp and a chump. Now you know it's not water he keeps in his hump. And his hump's not filled with lunch. And his hump's not filled with dinner. It's filled with desserts. And it never gets thinner. I don't know why, but this camel, they've got illustrations all throughout because, it's a kid's book. Something to look at. And this camel's got like a wizard's hat on. Ah, Ken, you made it in. Gosh darn it. Okay. Let me go grab my headset. I'll be right back. Okay, I'm back. And I can still make it public, so give me a moment to do some setting adjustments. Let's see. And we're going to make that public. There we go. So if you are skipping this part or just now joining us, we are jumping back into Star Citizen after about an hour of downtime. Right, Gold? You know, I feel bad. I feel bad. A little. I'm sure Phaedrus won't mind. Well, I'll tell you what, I put that in the title, Gold. I told people to also skip about an hour and 3 minutes if they don't want bedtime stories. And if people do want to hear bedtime stories, then they can just go back and listen. All right. Oh, Wetsu. Hey, Q-Bed, you don't have to do that. I don't know why that's not going. You know, Wetsu, I don't know why. Maybe it's if you don't put a message with it. But for some reason, like, whenever you have been generous enough to give me money, it never triggers like a stream elements animation. I do not know why. Maybe it's just if there's no message. It's the only thing I can come up with. Thank you so much. All right. We're going to do at least one haul. That's probably all the time I got time for. Or the only thing I've got time for. Although while I'm here... I should buy a soda. Oh, yeah! That's it. I think that's it right there. Thank you, Gold. And actually, you know, it's funny you say that. I am going to be at an icy place tomorrow. Why can't I buy any of these? Sir, are your drinks broken? I'm sorry, Gold. You know what? I feel like the Wookiee's time is past enough to where maybe I could retire the Wookiee. I mean, that sounds right? Oh, you know what I forgot about? I was auto-loading that gold. So let's go see if we have gold to sell.
Welcome to the ASOP vehicle retrieval system.
No, Gold, you're right. They were. Oh, kid. Thank you, kid.
Vehicle selected. Stand
Thank
by.
you.
Your vehicle has been delivered to the following location.
Oh, I don't like that. Okay.
Please.
Yeah, no, tomorrow I have to see the sequel to Wicked. And I'm not... Like, it's fun. Like, I'm not particularly, you know, amazed one way or the other. But I like seeing things before people ruin them, and these days, no one has any respect for that. And I have people in my life that are much larger fans than I, so it's like, alright, we're gonna go at a 2 p.m. showing, where regular people are still at work, so that way we're not crowded. And then immediately after that, it's time to go off to the boutique circus from Italy. And I'm probably butchering the name, but Piccolo Zoppi. You know, Ken, I haven't actually gotten Galderines in a long time. All right, do we have gold? It's like gold to me.
You are clear to launch.
Hello and welcome aboard your dream interplanetary craft. Your systems are online.
Oh yeah, no, I haven't actually... Yeah, and I'm not entirely sure I have anything right now that's utilizing size 5s, is the thing. Wow, my ship can barely stay afloat. Decoupled anyway. No, I forget. Am I taking this to Arc L4? I think Arc L4 is where we drop off gold. I might
Thank
be
you.
wrong.
And please visit again.
Pretty sure it's Arc L4 for the gold run.
Shield system offline.
Gee, it sure would suck if there was a pirate sitting along this exact route. gonna dump some gold. Honestly, I'll probably set it to auto sell, and then grab another caterpillar just to minimize turnaround time. Oh god, gold, that is right. If she's online, whoo-hoo. Maybe I should have kept to the bedtime stories. But I guess I can look at contracts while I wait, can't I? Interstellar, what do we got? What do we got? Direct bulk shipment from Port Tressler. That does kind of put me semi-close to Tressler. I'll try it out. I swear if they don't spawn, though. Hey, Twitchit! Morning, morning, morning. How is jolly old England at this particular hour? I mean, Ken, I don't see why not. I wouldn't take it up against a group, but like a couple of NPCs, you might be all right. Yeah, gold. I mean, I don't plan on it. I'm going to drop this gold off myself and then, like I said, do this interstellar run. You know, Ken, until I've really got to use them in practice, I don't feel like I know enough on it to offer an opinion. Because, like, I want to be like, oh, it's a great step forward. Because I feel like it probably is, but at the same time, I'm not a shooty shoot guy. Most of the time, I try to avoid ever being within a combat theater.
complete. Have a pleasant stay.
Oh, that's so fun to do.
Engines offline.
All right, so we're gonna store it, auto sell, grab another kitty cat, because that way I don't have to wait around while selling. Hey, Akram. I feel like, okay, so here's my issue, Ken. The size changes are in a good direction, but
Welcome to the
I feel like we need to
system.
the opposite of up gun, down gun
Your vehicle has been
a few
moved to a
ships.
storage facility.
Because back in the day, 1 to 2 was like the mainstay of fighters, and 3 was seen on stuff like the Cutlass. Like, I want to say the Buccaneer was one of the first ships to have size 3 guns as a fighter. Maybe the Saber. Maybe the Saber. Saber or Hornet. No, beggars, I know. Well, you see, beggars, I'd have to buy it, then install it, and also, beggars, I started that poll when it was like 4 people, and I was legitimately thinking about just laying on the couch and nodding off to Deep Space Nine. I got opinions on that, by the way. I know Death Factor isn't here to hear it, but I am so annoyed with the way they wrapped up the whole retaking Deep Space Nine thing. Because that was a 6-episode arc, and they wrap it up with a Deus Ex Machina and a poot in the wind. I went the wrong road. I sure did. Because it's the whole, oh no, they figured out a way to get rid of the mines. This has taken 6 episodes so far. We've got a desperate struggle. We're gonna make a last stand in the wormhole. And then they're sitting in the wormhole and the prophets go, the Cisco wants to end the game. And he's like, if you guys are going to mess around with my life, you might as well do something about the Jim Hadar. And then they do something about the Jim Hadar. And he goes, thanks. I'm going home now. Oh, there it is. And then poor Wayun is just sitting there going, huh, our thousands of ships, where are they? Ba-da-da-ba-ba. So it wasn't Arc L4.
Just another day then.
Where am I thinking of that buys gold?
I'm a little worried about being cooped up in a ship.
Oh yeah, Ken, Jeffrey Combs. I really appreciate how much they brought him into Deep Space Nine, because like he plays another dude. He plays Brunt. Sorry, you can't say Brunt without saying the whole thing, because every time he shows up, he's like, Brunt, FCA. It's like, Brunt, we have met you 20 times now. We know that you are with the FCA. I do this every time. You know what? We'll just leave this cat here. Don't let me forget that I've got a caterpillar sitting in Arc L4 full of gold. Because I want to do this interstellar mission.
Welcome to the A SOP vehicle retrieval system.
I know he was in Voyager. I don't remember the role he played in Voyager. He played a very small role. But I really appreciate it because it's like, okay, when someone guest appears in Star Wars, everyone's always like, no, 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 they wasted him. Now he can't play whoever else that they totally thought would be an amazing part. Meanwhile, Star Trek is like, here's Jeffrey Combs. It's like, see Jeffrey Combs as another alien. He never gets to wear his regular face. Oh, that's right, beggars. Right through the top teeth. Yeah, don't let me forget that I've got 2 million in gold sitting here. But yeah, and like Wayun is great. I love how, while being a despot, he is so administratively accommodating. Like, you know, he and Cisco are sitting in the same room knowing they're both about to go to war. Or like just sitting with an enemy. And yet he is so
Landing gear up.
polite. Oh, he does it so polite.
Thank you, and please visit again.
Wait, no, we are going to Tressler. Honestly, Akram, I kind of feel like he's genuine about it. Because, like, okay, there's the part where the ships don't come through, the Defiant is about to take the station. And instead of him being like... Hold on. So anyway, there's that part where, like, you know, they've had the station, they're about to beat the Federation, then the Klingons join up. And as soon as they show up at Deep Space Nine, he, instead of being like, oh, it was in our grasp, he just goes, well, time to start packing. That is true, beggars. I forget the number we're talking about right now. It's, Wayun... I want to say 6? I want to say 6. I'm going to say Wayun 6. The one that has been negotiating with Cisco and is currently with Gul Damar. I'm gonna say, though, and this is probably a hot take, I completely sympathize with everything Gul Dukat had going on. I do not believe Gul Dukat was necessarily the bad guy. Now, I need you to realize I am only like 10 episodes into season 6. But I do think that Goldicott's villain arc was well justified. Because,
Quantum drive is now off.
yeah, see, you know, okay. I don't know if this is spoilers, and if it is, I apologize, but also the show is 30 years old, so... But, you know, he just lost Zeal. Like, there is this daughter that he rescued, whom he did not kill. Although most of Cardassia would have totally been like, yeah, you should take her out, man. She's a child born out of wedlock. Do you want to throw away everything that you have gained so far? And dude lost his family, his wife, his career. Because he loved her that much. And at every turn, she thwarted him. And he never raised a hand in anger, never shouted at her. And the culmination of everything, she is the reason that the Federation is able to retake Deep Space Nine. And he is just so hurt and taken aback. And the Damar is like, well, she's a traitor. Shoot her. So everything that he had that gave him any sort of redemption was shot in front of him by his most loyal second in command. And,
Please proceed to signed
you know,
landing bay.
if my child admitted to me that my entire military career was flushed down the toilet because of her actions, and I would be losing my top government position and being on the run, and watching my entire nation's army broken before me because, again, of her actions, and then she was shot in front of me, I would go on a villain arc too. Yeah, exactly. I mean, I feel like Dukat teamed up with the Dominion specifically because of Garrick. It's like, imagine the daughter that you love more than life itself goes, Father, I've met the most wonderful man, and his name is... I don't know, who's a crappy human being? Like, you don't gotta name him, but just think of, like, the worst person that you hate. Your own personal villain. And imagine that your daughter is macking on that dude. Like, I would join the Dominion too. Hey, Firebrand. That sure don't look like all the things that I need. Okay, there we go. How big you think those are? Okay, 24s. You think we got enough room for all this? Hey, Disco. Disco, I don't know if you noticed, but your ship is parked at Arc L3. I made an oopsie. But yeah, beggars, but that's because they didn't really know her, you know? And you gotta remember, that dude was conditioned by the harshest of Cardassian society. He is a product of the fascist government he was raised in. They still do that little dip with the box. Disco, nothing good. Nothing good. See, Disco, I was going to start playing about an hour earlier, but right as I hit the go button to go do it, they brought everything down from maintenance. And that was not good. So I started reading bedtime stories to like the 4 people that were here, because I had it set as an unlisted stream. But then, right as we were wrapping up, I get told that, hey Jack, servers are up again. So we decided, why not? We'll at least knock out one of these new jobs, these interstellars. And I'm going to try to stream a little early tomorrow, because tomorrow I've got kind of a full day. But it's IAE. Sorry, I just need to get those past that weird invisible barrier that they still have not fixed. Now, beggars, I do want to say, at no point is Goldicott like a saint or like a praiseable man. I just want to be absolutely clear there. But like, you never really see Goldicott do anything particularly heinous. Is one of my issues. Like, you watch the Bajorans bomb a children's school because they won't teach Bajorology. And the person who ordered the school bombing later becomes Space Pope. Like, I had someone tell me that Kai Wen does not represent the Bajorans, but I kind of feel like someone who gets voted, democratically voted, I might add, to be the Pope, might represent her people. And her people are dumb. Honestly, Firebrand, I don't even feel like it's that. I mean, like with Goldicott, yes. But all Cardassians are shades of gray. Sorry, I couldn't help myself on that one. But anyway, where was I going with this? You know what? I'll risk bringing both of those up. Why not? Boy, that's going to be fun. Oh, and they're all back there, too. So I gotta toss them up. Oh, you didn't like that joke, Firebrand? That's fair. That's fair. I tell you, though, I have struggled finding any Bajoran character that I can actually like. It has been tough. Negative beggars. And I know he's probably going to pull a massive heel turn. Because, you know, that's the way these things go. He's currently in his I'm crying in a prison cell era. But, you know, I can't blame him. He did lose his daughter. The only good thing in his life. No, that's fair, Firebrand. Yeah, I thought there was a gap there. That's right, James. Should have been here earlier, James. I mean, I don't know if you could be. I had it as an unlisted stream because I was fiddling with things. Now, great notes. That's actually a pretty cool take there. I don't mean like cool as in like unhot, like, you know. I mean like neato. I forget. Is it just one wide? Can I fit a 4 there? I forget how these work on the sides. The thing that annoys me with Kai Wen is when Byral is still around. Like, she wins, and she goes from mustache twirling villain to him going, well, she had a change of heart. And then she acts cool for like 1 episode. Yay, everything up front. And then she goes back to being a total jerk. All right, we're just gonna spin the ship so we can actually focus. Hey, Logan. Oh, not bad. Having to adjust some things so I can squeeze all this cargo in here. Fish, I wish I could say I've been going for that long, but nah, man, I went to trivia. Actually, yeah, you guys want some trivia? You guys wanna play some trivia? Sling this. No. James, kind of. But there's also, like, okay, all Bajorans are religious the moment they are born. I don't know why people think the Bajorans are written better than any other race ever in Star Trek, because all Bajorans just go, oh, the prophets. Prophets, your pa is strong. Prophet. That's all Bajorans are. If you say the prophet said that you should unalive yourselves today, Bajor as a society would cease to exist. Because they have no spine. They are spineless, blind idiots who crave to be guided like sheep. Like, okay, before the Cardassians came along, the Bajorans had a caste society. And I mean full on, oh god, I can't sit here. Someone of a higher caste is coming to sit here. I'm gonna get up and give them my spot to sit in. Like that style of caste society. And there's a part where old dude comes back to the wormhole and goes, hey, I'm actually the emissary, not the Cisco. And we all need to go back to caste society. It's because of this that we got invaded. Despite them being part of a caste system when they got invaded, and no longer being in a caste system when they got uninvaded. And like, Dukat made this little troll argument that the Cardassian occupation bettered their society. And they became better in spite of, not because of. But it's kind of hard to discredit his argument when you see stuff like that. But yeah, no, they are all super deep religious. I have not... Okay, there's been one Bajoran that was not religious, and he was from a mirror universe, so I don't know if that actually counts. Because he had to come from another dimension. Also, every time Kai Wen is on screen, she has to grab somebody's ear. And it's always like, child, what are you doing? It's like, why are you here, Kai Wen? It's like, child, if the prophets wanted you to know, they would have told you, child. And I had enough religious trauma as a kid and a teenager. But if I had some old lady grab my ear, she wouldn't have a hand or an arm or an old lady. They did, beggars. There was that scene where that one Vedek is like, Kira, why aren't you fighting this? And Kira's like, we're biding our time. And she goes, nope, that's not good enough. I'm gonna go hang myself because you're not doing things fast enough. Let's guilt trip you with my death because you can't immediately do something about this occupation with an overwhelming force. Oh, Firebrand. Are the Bajorans in TNG? Fish, I don't think they're particularly good right now. Okay, you know, Granulus, I have a lot of things against Kai Opaka. I have a lot to say about how bad Kai Opaka is. It's alright, there was something about that. Someone was mentioning stuff not responding after Quantum. How long ago is that? They just had a hot fix where they brought stuff down for about an hour. Ugh, I'm gonna have to go get a drink soon. Maybe I can at least get this stuff loaded up. Do I have enough room for all this? Okay, you know what? Let's go get our drinks first. Cause I know I'm gonna hit like 10%. Yeah, okay, see, James, that's it. And they kind of brought it up in Deep Space Nine, where they say space be big, we should have enough space between ourselves. And yet people keep rubbing elbows and fighting about it. Because the Cardassians are naturally expansionist. I mean, if you think about it, everybody in Star Trek is both expansionist and colonial. Like, if the Federation ain't having problems with their colonies all over the place, every other episode.
Right. Let me take care.
Can I drink? Didn't I already take my helmet off?
Nice one.
There we go. Yeah, sorry, I don't know about that one.
Great. Think you like it.
It's odd that the VPN is helping. But like, okay, Opaka. And I know her arc kind of ended in the bad seasons. But
No idea how the hell it works, but
she decides to stay on a planet where you can live forever, but you die as soon as you leave the planet. And she's like, oh, these people need me. I'm gonna stay here. But I've seen all this, you know, future stuff. It's like, meanwhile, that means that she creates a power vacuum on an already destabilized planet that yearns for a stable leader. God, that was so wet. And that power vacuum means that people like Kai Wen get to rise up and take her position. It's like she abandoned Bajor when Bajor needed her the most. Did they, beggars? Did they? She decided to abandon her planet to live on a planet with people that were so reviled, their respective planets dumped them there and said, all right, y'all figure it out. I don't think I'm going to have room for all these. Hey, Bob. Well, they seem to be working for now. Sorry, I have yet to really meet a well-written Bajoran character who somehow doesn't make things worse. Like, Kira has gotten a heck of a lot better. Seasons 1 and 2 Kira, I would have tossed out the airlock. This one has gotten a lot better. No, you go on top. There you go. See, James, I haven't heard anything about that. How much time do I have? Because now I have to watch all of Stargate. Yeah, because, like, Grant... Oh, yeah, no, Kira was on that mission because she had that big emotional breakdown about can the prophets forgive her? All that. Right. Forgot all about that. Gosh, I hope I don't have many more to load. Oh, I think that's all of them. Woohoo! Oh, they just announced it today. Okay, I got time then. I got time. All right, so we're gonna take this baby to Pyro.
You are clear to launch.
Yes, all right. Have a good night, man. It's good seeing you. Our boy Kev is doing well.
Launch complete.
Tell you what, it's all right. If you rewind the beginning of this stream, there's a bunch of bedtime stories. If that helps you get to sleep. I read 3 or 4.
Gear up.
High school, my God, they grow. Oh, they grow so fast.
Thank you.
Oh, James, yeah,
Please visit
Garrick
again.
and Bashir are like Rom and Nog. I almost wonder if it would be better to go Nyx Pyro. Probably not. You know, let's do a random jump somewhere. See, James, I actually just saw the episode where Bashir tries to help the other, like, genetically modified patient. And I will say, for early 90s, they did a heck of a job in showing how autism can manifest in different ways. And how you don't have anything to, like, fear from autistic people. It's just, they just react to certain stimuli differently than others. And as long as you can accommodate that, everything is fine. And like you said, for, what was it, 95, 96 when they had that? That was excellent. I mean, like, are there things to improve upon? But yeah, we've come so far since 1995. Hey, Wade. Fish, I think this is also the Red Wind mission for the Interstellar.
Quantum drive is now on.
Yeah, James, like, it's a... I know it's still kind of like a hot button issue, but, like, you know, leaps and bounds. We've made so much progress. Like, oh, people these days go on about, like, aggressions and, you know, treating each other with hostility, but I don't think a lot of people realize the amount of progress we have made in the last 3 decades. Ooh, good job, Fish. I am glad to hear it. So, like, you can do backflips and stuff now, right? You know, Firebrand, I do feel like we've regressed on some certain things. Or, like, how we address or feel about certain things. And Beggars, which Jake episode are we talking? Is it the one where his dad is, like, quantum rubber banding? And he pretty much has to, like, die in quantum space so his dad can snap back and actually not jump all over? So I did see that one. I think that was, like, season 3? Maybe? Nice, Fish. Hey, no, like, sepsis... Listen, sepsis ain't no joke. Yeah, Beggars, like, that is a gut-wrenching episode. I think my favorite episode so far is... Hey, Rhino. And no. Sorry, I thought about ignoring you, but no. I think my favorite was when they crash land with a Jem'Hadar. And there's the one Jem'Hadar who's like, I got over my addiction to Ketracel White, and I want the same for my soldiers. Please help them. And Bashir tries his absolute best to do it, and then, you know, O'Brien sabotages it. And like, the Jem'Hadar soldier lets them go, but basically he decides to stay with his crew and die with his crew because he's that loyal to them. And if he can't have them free of the White, he will at least die with them. You know, Firebrand, what I will say for Jake, most of the time in a show, when you have a teenager who has to play any sort of serious role, like non-sitcom style, especially in space, it's very cringy. But I can't think of a time where Jake has been on screen and I've been like, oh no. Like, you know, he's put himself in some dumb situations, but they're situations that you would expect a teenager to go through exactly. And Nog, oh my god, Nog. Yeah, see, James, now I haven't seen TNG yet, so I haven't got to see the stuff that Wesley gets up to. I'm kind of going in a weird reverse order. I started with Lower Decks, then went Voyager, Deep Space Nine, and then after Deep Space Nine, we're going to go TNG. See, Akram, I might not have got to those episodes yet. He's currently in his whole I'm a reporter phase. Oh, that always sucks, doesn't it, James? Yeah, Ken. Have a good night, buddy. Tell you who I have enjoyed. Teenage, or maybe he's an adult, Alexander Roshenko. Worf's son. Now, I don't like Worf. I don't like Worf at all. I've only seen Worf in Deep Space Nine, but he is a cold turd on a winter's day. And Alexander realizes this, and he's like, hey, yo, you ain't tried to call me or write to me in like 5 years. Could you step up and be a father over here? And I don't know why I'm giving him this like Jersey accent, because he doesn't have that at all. But Worf is like, I will try. And does he try to be a father? Not at all. Not at all. Yeah, see, Akram, in Deep Space Nine, he's just like, I hate everyone I work with. I'm going to go live in my car. I'm going to be super controlling and possessive of Jadzia. Because I'm all about tradition. Even though I had a child out of wedlock, whom also I don't take care of, and dumped on my parents. 1 prune juice. Don't even drink the blood wine. I mean, I'm sure everyone else that was on the Enterprise and didn't get to be on the Enterprise. See, beggars, maybe I'll change my mind once I watch TNG. But, like, I don't think I've had a good time with him on screen yet. Hey, Jackal. It's, okay, so we haven't actually been to it yet. Because earlier today, the patch finally dropped, and I didn't have a lot of time to explore. Excuse me, on account of having to go to trivia. I was going to stream about an hour and a half ago, but it was down for maintenance. And I can't be on for too long, because I've got to wake up early tomorrow if I want to stream any of IAE. And I took one of these intergalactic freight missions, and it's taking me to Pyro. So I'll see if I can get one to Nyx after I get through. Get the Megumi. Come on. Give me a jump before someone starts lighting me up.
Quantum drive is now active.
Nah, it's in there. A lot of people can't take off from it right now.
Drive is now
And it's a little bit laggy because everyone and their mother has set their home there. Where am I taking these? He's going to ruin. Yeah. Now, Akram, like, okay, it's okay if you say it, because like I said, the show is 30 years old. And I know a lot of stuff out of order. Just because, you know. But who else was on Enterprise that shows up on Deep Space Nine that isn't Worf? Unless we're talking about Riker's, transporter clone. Oh, snaps, Parker, are they? Good. Good. I'm glad the turtles are back. Yeah, Fish. Oh, right, Miles. I keep forgetting Miles was actually on the Enterprise. He just was set in a room. Fish, it's... Oh, I forget what he goes by. I think he goes by the middle name of Riker. Thomas, I think? I think he goes by Thomas Riker. Ends up joining the Maquis. Yeah, no, I always forget that Miles is there. But Miles is happy because things actually break down. He has stuff to do. I feel like on Enterprise it was just, I'm going to sit in a room. Oh, you want to transport over there? Okay. At least on Deep Space Nine, he's got entertainment. Yeah, Fish, they had one episode in TNG and then one episode about it in Deep Space Nine.
Quantum fuel is at 15%.
Hey, Naz. Oh, it's not bad, not bad. I mean, it's got some issues. Don't get me wrong, but okay. So it is Thomas. Thank you, beggars. Hey, Skull. Oh, Parker, what is the new weapons? Now, I want you guys to know it's almost 3 a.m. So once I deliver this shipment, I'm probably gonna have to boogie back. At least I'll jump back to Stanton and call it for the night. Oh, right, the Ripper. Ooh, Naz, I'm sorry. Naz, I don't know if it matters, but it was down for like a solid hour and a half. So I was in Barnes and Noble the other day, And I was in their tabletop RPG section. And they had the tabletop player's guides or player handbooks for both Transformers and My Little Pony. And I'm not going to knock anybody for playing the My Little Pony tabletop. That's not what I'm here to do. But I was annoyed because the rule book for My Little Pony was considerably thicker than the one for Transformers, where your character can turn from one thing into another thing. I just feel like, I don't know, being a robot in disguise that can go from guy to helicopter might introduce a few extra rules than, I don't know, Princess Buttercup has been taken by the sneeze weasels and we have to get her back through the power of friendship. Yeah, Gold, I'm still en route to deliver that. Oh no, Fish, I know all okay. Fish, I hate to admit this, but I know way more about My Little Pony than I ever meant to. No, Firebrand, there is no probably. There is. There is.
Quantum drive is now on. Quantum drive is now off.
You see, Firebrand, when I was younger, when I was like 23, 22, I had a friend in Texarkana. And, like, you ever have a friend who's so deep in denial about something? And you're like, bro, just admit it. Like, it's cool. Like, live with yourself. I had a friend who was a furry, but swore up and down that he was not a furry. And it's like, it's okay, man. Just, you can admit it. It's fine. None of us care. Just, you are so obviously a furry. Anyway. He comes to me one day and he's like, hey, Jack, a couple of us wanted to go to this convention in Austin, Texas, but we don't want to drive that far. Would you drive my car and drive us there? Like, we'll pay for gas, we'll pay, like, you know, for room. All you got to do is drive us, because that was like a 6-hour drive from where we lived. And this is back when I didn't ask too many questions. And I was like, yeah, man, I'm down. So we get there, and I realize what kind of convention it is.
An available space has been located.
All too late do I realize what kind of convention it is. It is a My Little Pony convention for bronies. And I'm stuck there the whole weekend. And I spent a long time drinking, I tell you that. Yeah, exactly, Gold. Exactly. Like, you know, there's so much stuff going on. Someone's like, I'm a furry, and you're just like, okay. Yeah, but you see, Fish, I was also their ride. And truth be told, I was very drunk that whole weekend. You see, Firebrand, I met a lot of very concerned parents at the hotel bar. A lot of very concerned parents. And I'm like, you know, I'm kind of concerned myself. Like, I drove my friends here, but they seem like they're all having fun. And no one's being too weird. So, like, whatever, you know, just let them be weird. Everyone's weird about something. I mean, God, you know how many Transformers I own? I got a bunch of little plastic dudes that turn into other things. And I'm not gonna lie, they played some music from the show. And that music was pretty good. Like, I'm a sucker for a musical. And that stuff was written incredibly well. But then the night comes. And with the night comes drinking. And with drinking comes inhibitions being let go. And I had to kick a guy out of my room who was wearing a My Little Pony like full-on onesie, like an outfit. You ever had to reject a man who was dressed up like a cartoon horse? I have. He's like, we're all in the room together, and I'm just wanting to get to the next day in the corner playing Roller Coaster Tycoon on my terrible laptop. And it's like, oh, let's play drinking games. Like, I know exactly where that's gonna try to go. And it's time to call the night. Yeah, exactly, Firebrand. Although I now know that he was dressed up as Fluttershy, who is actually a Pegasus and does not have a horn. You learn these things. Oh, you learn these things. Hey, Omnub. Sorry, you probably came in at a weird moment. So, Omnub, they just did the nerfing of the shots, and I don't think it's all the way there. They're kind of making, I would say, smaller steps. I'm not really knowledgeable enough in combat to tell you if that's really what's going to close the gap. I mean, my personal uninformed take, I don't believe it's going to be everything. It'll help a little bit. But fighters still basically move super fast. And the distances that we have as far as differences go, I don't think are big enough. Especially with most fighters having size 3s and 4s. That's just my own personal take. And I would implore you to get the opinions of more experienced people who do a lot more combat than I. No, Gold, I need you to know how close you are to how that actually turned out there. I need you to know that you are so close. Yeah, also, they are trying to finally bake in engineering by the end of the year. That's really going to affect a lot of stuff too. Honestly, probably more for large ships than it is fighters. And there's current rate right now, engineering has some ships getting taken out super quickly. And again, they'll probably adjust it before it actually goes to live. But expect a lot of the combat stuff to be up in the air for the next several months. And worst comes to worst, you can just take a break and come back to it later. No, Face. You have to go land on a whole planet. You want to eat them noodles? You're not going to eat those in the vacuum of space. Never mind having, you know, a pressurized cockpit or whatever. Yeah, Mark, I heard about that. What's going on with the mole? Can you not take the heads off? Yeah, Gold, all the food got wiped. Ask me how I know. Uh-oh, fish, that sucks. Oh, that's really bad. Firebrand, what day is Drake? Okay, so it's just the mole that you can't. That's weird. Like, I know there's reasons, but you ever wonder, like, how that happened? Like, what did they even change about this ship from patch 1 to patch 2 to make it behave like this? I know there's gotta be something about it. Alright, I hope CIG doesn't hear me, but sometimes these things move a little too fast. Ooh, 22nd to 23rd. Hey, Granulus, what is on the 25th? What is my birthday ship? Please don't be Origin again. Honestly, Skull, I don't think it is. I went through all the jobs earlier, and I think the highest bulk one was like 300,000, maybe 400,000. But there was no super big ticket item like we used to have, which I get it because you didn't really have to do a lot to earn that, but still, you went through all that rep. All the rep gating to get there. Oh, face, that sucks. I'm sorry. You know, Firebrand, what it does is it creates a zero gravity negation sphere around the crate. You just can't see it because it's not on the spectrum that the human eye can see. That's really the only BS I can come up with. Yeah, exactly, Fish. Like, I don't feel like we're being properly rewarded for the amount of grind we had to do to get that rep. Yeah, you abandoned one contract. Like, I would have been fired from a lot more jobs if like one screw up meant my rep went to 0. And a lot of that screw up was not me. Just, you know, just saying. I showed up to get the cargo and the cargo wasn't there. That's not on me. That is on the cargo supplier. Also, I did not realize how many episodes of Deep Space Nine LeVar Burton directed. Oh, why thank you, Granulus. I do want to see the Clipper, though. Is it ugly? God, yes. But still. I don't have to stack these neatly. I really don't. I don't know why I keep doing it. Well, you know, that's it, Akram. It hurts your eyes, so you can't shoot at it without looking at it. Oh, Fish, we already have stats for it? Yeah, gold. People do like their med beds. I was gonna say it's probably a bottom tier med bed, but then I'm like, well, the Cutlass Red already has a bottom tier med bed, so. You don't like the Herald, Akram? It is kind of weirdly shaped. All right. Gosh, I hope it's 48 SU. All right. Well, Akram, that's fine. That way you should be able to see it coming. I think I can get away with that one on stream. Still the rookie jobs. Yeah, no. I ain't got time to take all that back. I do, however, have to fly back. That way I don't have to go interstellar tomorrow to get to Orzen. So I'm gonna go park myself probably at her L3. Yeah, gold, you think so?
Quantum fuel is at 100%.
You are clear to leave.
And thank you for reminding me.
Launch complete.
How is work, Disco? You can actually use your old Perseus when you get home.
Contact.
Thank you for visiting. Safe travels.
Interesting. Now, why would two mantises be sitting here at... Get a name on that?
Contact.
It's just NPCs? Nah, Naz. Not yet, anyway.
Shield system offline.
I'm also moving with no cargo, so honestly, if they take me out, they'll kind of be doing me a favor.
Quantum
Oh, gold. You mean like the ATC? I'll say I've had that one for a hot minute, but not longer than what do you call it? I always forget the name of it. Starfield. Sorry, I know you just said it. Now, Gold, you are right. It is past my bedtime. And as soon as I make it back, we are going to wrap it up. That's right, Parker. Now, I did pick up my my CCU to the Perseus. That way I can buy one before the price goes, you know, high. That's it, Parker. Although I don't know if spelling out firing solution is as catchy as KISSING. Naz, I've never seen it. It's on the list, but I've never seen it. Hey, Simo. Parker, you think they're releasing the Salvation because it can just follow the Perseus around and scrape up stuff that the Perseus destroys? Oh, Parker, do you think so? I thought it was larger. I thought it was like medium sized. My God. And that was a trip, wasn't it? Yeah, see about I'm sorry. How should I say? How should I say it? Instead of Simo, should I go Camus? Camo? How? What do you want me to say? GMO. Is that right? I'm gonna be honest. I've never liked the letter C. Like, every other letter has its own sound. Or at least apes close enough to something else. But C is always like, I'm gonna be an S or I'm gonna be a K. I'm never gonna be my own thing. It's kind of like, okay, Gmo, if I'm saying that part right. You ever meet somebody and they have a dog and this sounds so dumb, but like you say something like, how old is he? And they get all ticky and they correct you and they go, well, she is, 5 years old. And it's like, how was I supposed to know? It's a dog. Like, I ain't gonna come over to your house, meet your dog, and lift up its legs to see what it's got, you know? I feel like that with the letter C and a lot of stuff. Like, sometimes, and I mean by that, most of the time, you take a stab in the dark and you're wrong. So I appreciate you just straight telling me. Because I never would have guessed a G pronunciation. Yeah, Matt. Honestly, Matt, if you rewind to the very beginning, I read bedtime stories for an hour while waiting for the server to come up. If you just want some of those sad original fairy tales to read. Because originally, once I found out that maintenance happened, I was like, screw it. I hit the button right as it started. Hadn't made it public yet. Had like 4 people here. It's like, all right, you guys finally get the whole reading stream. Gmo, it's funny you bring that up because I believe one of the ones that we read was, what is it? Like the Yellow Fairy book or whatever. Like, I think Grimm, Hans Christian Andersen. Okay, yes, there was 6 of us. That's true, Gold. I don't know if it counts me. But we read, what did we read? The Golden Goose, not to be confused with the goose that laid the golden egg. Totally different story. The Steadfast Tin Soldier. I swear there was another one. There were some fun little tongue twisters in there. Hey, Steve. I didn't get to read the one that I wanted to, but when I say wanted to, I was kind of like, you know what, if we got time, I'm going to read this one. Yeah, Gmo, that's just what I mean. Like, the last people credited with it, but they didn't actually get it themselves. Hold on, I have the book here. Actually, go down the list so I can actually see what we read, which I guess we didn't even read that much. All right. Okay, so we started with the gingerbread man, which was kind of repetitive and then just had an ending that came out of nowhere. Let's see, then we read... What did we read next? Ah, yes. The Golden Goose. Which, I'm going to be honest, the goose does not factor in that prominently in that story. And then the Steadfast Tin Soldier, which, God, you want one of those everybody dies and no one's happy stories. That's one right there. Ah, welcome home, Disco. You know, Chimo, I'm trying to remember. I want to say it sounds familiar, but I have nothing to support that, just like off the top of my head. How long ago was it? I don't think I've got the rat catcher from Hamlet in here. Let me double check. This book has like 450 pages. It's a big book. Oh, no, it is in here. They changed the name of it. It's the Pied Piper of Hamlet. But it is in here. Page 194. 194. Oh, this one rhymes. This is one of those rhyming ones. Rats, they fought the dogs and killed the cats, and bit the babies in the cradles, and ate the cheeses out of the vats, and licked the soup from the cook's own ladles. You know, Gmo, sometimes the best kind of loyalty is the ones that you buy. I'm kidding. I'm kidding. But Abbey Rhino, how is it? Do they have a statue about the Pied Piper there? I feel like that'd be one of those towns that just sells a whole bunch of Pied Piper merchandise. Like you've got a town that has something moderately famous and they just milk it for everything. Because if they're not, they should. That's right. Okay, okay. Now I'm caught up, Gmo. Now I'm caught up. Which, don't let me forget, I have 2 million in gold sitting at Arc L4. I have to go sell that tomorrow. Well, no, that is greatly appreciated.
Landing gear down.
Yeah, Rhino, but the story's older than that. I mean, you know, I'm sure Salem, Massachusetts has a whole bunch of, like, witch keychains and things like that, but they ain't had the Salem witch trials for a couple hundred years. Matt, I will have you know, I have only punched a goose once. Well, okay, multiple times, but it was one session, and I was fist fighting a whole flock of geese. Like, I didn't go looking for a fight, I just had to punch my way out. You know, Gold, that's not a bad idea. Although I might swap it for Thomas the Tank Engine. I feel like those stories are more with how long Quantum takes.
Landing complete. Have a pleasant stay.
Engines offline.
I just want to be absolutely clear, those geese came after me. I was playing Pokemon Go in the park, and apparently I got too close to their territory, and I decided I was going to not give in, and they decided they were going to do something about it. And I'm sure it looked incredibly heinous. 4 a.m., a guy having a fist fight with a flock of geese. Oh, Gold, they did the thing like where their head goes low and they hiss. And they start running at you and they like to flap a bunch. Oh, do they love to flap. Geese are flappers. But it's all an act.
Your vehicle has been moved to
They're just not used to being answered to. Talos, I hate that chronologically those are in order. Hate that. Matt, I don't... It was dark. I think they may have been Canadian. Like, dude, it was 4 in the morning. That park is not well lit, and I desperately wanted a Gyarados. And, let me just say, I bled for all the Magikarp that I caught that day. It's kind of messed up getting attacked by several animals to catch an imaginary animal, but, you know. Listen, I like Gyarados, okay? It's a fun Pokemon. See, Gmo, that right there, that needs to be a little fairy tale. The little ducklings and the big bad goose. And the man who knocked the block off the goose. But all right. Sadly, my time has come. I must abandon you. But I will try to be back here in a few hours. I'm gonna get a little bit of sleep. Sorry, I kind of forget that they talk now. But yeah, so I'm gonna have a weird schedule tomorrow. I got a thing at 2, which means I gotta be there at like 1:15. Because even though theaters have assigned seating now, I still like to get there early. Because that's just the thing you do. And then the circus. That one's for my birthday. I'm gonna go see the circus. I didn't see a single clown all of last year. And by golly, I'm gonna see a clown this year. So, probably gonna be an early stream. So you guys have a good night. Take care of yourselves. If you have not already, please eat something scrumptious. If you do want something to lull you to sleep, rewind to the beginning of the stream, where we read a couple of storybooks for about an hour. Oh, thank you, Gmo. Thank you, Parker. Like, I still got a couple of days. I got 5 days. November 25th. I want you guys to have a wonderful night. Please take care of yourselves. And as always, until next time, keep on trucking. Have a good night, guys.